What if I told you one man built networks so powerful, presidents, billionaires, royalties, scientists, Wall Street titans, and now media executives all orbiting around him, just around one person, and almost nobody stopped asking the questions until the bodies, black books, private island, hidden flights, sealed files started leaking into the public view. Jeffrey Epstein is dead, but his network, that's a real story. And today, the panic inside the elite circles is getting just louder and louder. New congressional hearings, survival testimonials, millions of pages of Epstein files, flight logs, private meetings, secret connection. And now investigators and journalists are asking one terrifying question. How did one convicted predator gain access to the most powerful people on earth? Because this wasn't just about crimes. This was all about influence. It was about control. It was about access and maybe protection. Think about this. Epstein wasn't a tech genius. He wasn't elected. He didn't build $1 trillion company. Somehow he was dining with presidents, flying with billionaires, meeting Nobel Prize winners, hosting princes, and moving through elite society like he owned it. So that's what makes his story so dangerous. Not just who Epstein was, but who opened the doors for him. And now the walls are cracking much bigger and bigger. The survivors are testifying publicly. Journalists are mapping the network. Congress is reopening the question people thought they were buried forever, because the public is no longer asking, was Jeffrey Epstein guilty or not? The question is absolutely dead. The real question now is, who benefited from keeping him close? And who benefited from keeping him protected, like so protected? Now, the web of influence he was having, that was crazy. Look, the phrase dominating headlines right now is Epstein's web of influence. And honestly, that might be the most accurate description yet for this. So, because Epstein built relationships across every layer of power. Politics, finance, academia, intelligence circles, royal families, media, Silicon Valley, Wall Street. You can name any. He was everywhere. He surrounded himself basically with the people whose name carried honestly a lot of weight on this planet. Not because he needed fame, but because proximity to power is only power. And the deeper the investigators dig, the stranger the connections start looking. This week, survivors' testimony reignited the global attention. So one woman testified that Jeffrey Epstein continued abusing girls even while under so-called house arrest. So think how insane it sounds. A convicted sex offender with daytime release privileges, still operating freely around wealth and influence. And lawmakers are now questioning the infamous Playa deal that many critics call one of the most suspicious sweetheart deals in the modern legal history. Because ordinary people don't get those kind of deals. Ordinary people don't get private islands, celebrity connections, legal shields wrapped around them like armor. That level of protection usually means only one thing. It's leverage. Now, let's be very clear. Appearing in Epstein's contact or flight log does not automatically mean someone committed crimes. That distinction matters. But here's what also matters. Why did so many powerful people continue associating with him after the conviction? That's the part the public can't ignore anymore, because this wasn't isolated friendship. This was an ecosystem, a network, a machine built around access to elite. And every new document release adds another puzzle price. Emails, calendar, financial ties, meetings, connections. Suddenly people are realizing Epstein may have probably understood something terrifying. Powerful people often protect each other until protecting each other becomes impossible. Now, and this is where the story becomes explosive, because the internet has spent years asking the question that public still feels were never fully answered. Was Epstein simply a predator hiding behind the wealth, or was he something bigger than that? Some people suspect intelligence, connection, and others believe the blackmail was involved. So others think the entire case exposed how untouchable elite network can become. Officially, many of these theories remain just unproven. But here's the problem. Secrecy creates suspicions. Now, missing transparency creates distrust. And when file stays hidden for years, people start assuming the worst and worst, especially when the names involved, including some of the most powerful individuals on earth. What's happening right now isn't just another celebrity scandal. This story has survived for years because it touches a nerve of people already feel that there's one system there's one system for the powerful and another one for everyone else. That money buys silence and the influence buys protection. So the truth only leaks out when the pressure becomes impossible to contain. Jeffrey Epstein, of course, he is dead, but his shadow is still moving through the politics. His shadow is moving through media, finance, global power, circles, every new hearing, every new testimony, every new filed release. Now, keep reopening the same terrifying possibility. Maybe Epstein was never the center of the story. Maybe he was just the door into the world the public was never supposed to see. If you want this kind of uncensored breakdowns, you can subscribe to the channel and hit the like video. And if you like the breakdown, you can subscribe to the channel and hit the like on the video. Thank you. See you next time.